All right, friends, welcome back to our online Bible study in the Gospel of Mark. Today is day 2, and we're looking at the back half of chapter 1 today. Mark is the earliest and the most succinct written account that we have of Jesus' life. And what the author is doing here, Mark, in the back half of chapter 21, is giving us a sense of what the early days of Jesus' ministry were like. What was Jesus like? And what was it like for those that were following him around at the time? What were those early days like? So this obviously doesn't include everything that happened in those early days. But I think even in just the 25 or so verses that we're looking at today, it gives us a sense of what those days were like. So if you've already read through it, I want you to think back at it kind of in a new way. If you haven't read through it yet, think about it this way. Just really try to get a sense of what it looked like, what it felt like, those early days when Jesus is walking around. We're going to look at all of these 25 verses just kind of at a 20,000 foot level, and I want to show you a pattern that we see here. The first main section is 21 through 28. Look at what happens here. They went into Capernaum. This is Jesus and folks that are following him. And immediately on the Sabbath, Jesus entered the synagogue and was teaching. So what does Jesus intend to do? It's Saturday. That's the Sabbath. He is going to teach from the Hebrew Scriptures, what we call the Old Testament. He's going to teach. That's what he's intending to do. And if you skip down just a little bit, after he teaches for a while, people are amazed. And then there was in their synagogue a man with an unclean spirit. As Jesus is intending to teach, there's an interruption by this man. How is Jesus going to deal with this interruption? It's an unexpected thing that happens. Well, Jesus pauses, rebukes the unclean spirit, restores the man to health. What is the result of that? The result is that his fame spread. So look at this kind of rhythm that happens here. Jesus is intending to do something. He's intending to teach. There is an interruption. He addresses the interruption. And then there's something that comes from that. And what comes from that is that people find out about him. Look at the next section, 29 through 34. Jesus immediately left the synagogue and entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. This is kind of Jesus's core four. Simon is also known as Peter. These are the four that Jesus often pulls aside out of the 12 and spends time with. He's intending to spend time just with this kind of core group of four. But he finds out as soon as he gets there that Simon's mother-in-law was ill with a fever. Again, an unexpected interruption. What happens? Well, Jesus addresses that, and he heals her, restores her to health. What's the result of that? Well, lots of people find out, and they come, and they want to be healed. Also, he's intending to spend time with the core four. There's an interruption when Simon's mother-in-law becomes ill. He heals her, and then, again, fame spreading. More and more people are healed because of this. Look at the last section. In your Gospel of Mark book that we gave you, it's broken up into two sections. Think about it as a whole section, 35 through 45. Rising very early in the morning while it was still dark, he, Jesus, departed and went into a desolate place, and there he prayed. What is Jesus intending to do? Spend some quiet time with the Father in prayer. There's an interruption. Simon, some of the others who were following Jesus, went and searching for him. They found him, and they said, everyone's looking for you. The implication is you need to come back into Capernaum. Jesus, again, has to address this interruption. Rather than doing what Peter suggests that he do, Simon suggests that he does, he says, nope, not going back into Capernaum. Let's go to the next town, to the next towns, that I may preach there also, for this is why I came out. He knows why it is that he's there, and that is to go from town to town to preach. So he goes all throughout, casting out demons and teaching. He then, what's the result? Meets a leper, heals that leper. His fame spreads even more. Intending to spend time alone in prayer, interrupted by Simon Peter and others, addresses it by saying, look, I'm not going back into Capernaum. Let's go to the next town. I'm going to preach, I'm going to teach there. More people are healed, and more people hear the good news to the point that his fame spreads so much that it's hard for him to move from town to town. Do you see the pattern here? Jesus knows who he is, and he knows why he has been sent. He's come that he may go from town to preach. He knows that. And he stays laser focused on that. But while he stays laser focused on that, there are these interruptions, like divine interruptions. There are people that he stumbles upon, or that stumble upon him. And while he is focused on teaching, that is why he came. he also is willing to address the needs of the people that are right in front of him. When the man with the unclean spirit interrupts him while he's teaching, or right after he teaches, whatever it is, he doesn't brush him aside. He looks him in the eyes and addresses that. He wants some time with those core four. When the mother-in-law falls ill, he doesn't ignore her, brush her to the side. He addresses that. He addresses the needs of the leper. He's a man who, if you're getting a sense of Jesus, who is driven. He knows what it is that he needs to be doing with his life. But he's also willing to slow down, to pause, and to spend time with and to address the needs of the people who are right in front of him. Those early days of Jesus' ministry was a whirlwind. He's doing so many things, teaching, healing, all of those things. Hundreds, thousands of people know who he is, and they're coming in, they're seeking his attention. It's a whirlwind. Just imagine kind of the mayhem. But he's willing to stop and pause and look an individual in the eyes and meet their needs. What is it that you're called to do? Maybe it has something to do with your profession. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with your profession. I don't know what it is that you're called to do, but I do know that while you are driven by that and motivated by that, and that is good, you are also a man or a woman who's called to be open to the divine interruptions that happen in our lives. Who is it that you stumble upon, or who stumbles upon you, that maybe God is intending for you to do a good work in their life? Just to listen to them, or to provide some kind of a spiritual need, that they provide for some kind of spiritual need, or some kind of physical need, some kind of emotional need. You also have divine interruptions in your life. Let's be people who, like Jesus, are driven to make a difference in the world, to make an impact, driven by what God has called us to do, and who are willing to pause, look folks in the eye, and meet the needs of the people that have interrupted our lives and are right in front of us. Hope this gives you a little bit of a sense of Mark's understanding of the early days of Jesus' ministry. God bless you, friends. Keep with your reading. We're going to see some awesome stuff in the next couple weeks.